two beginner patterns for the Amara or Celtic scale, one that will get you playing straight away and another that will give you a little bit more of a challenge. This one is a B Celtic or B Amara, but it works on any Celtic or Amara scale, it's all the same. And the first one looks like this. So in its most simplest form, here's the pattern that we'll start with. It's very simple, we're just moving hand to hand up and down the scale, starting with the right hand on the ding, left hand on note 1, right hand on note 3, and we're skipping this one, we're skipping note 2, and we come straight up here. And then once we reach note 5, we come back down again. Skipping this note, and the reason that we're skipping this note is because on the next round through we'll be skipping note 1 and starting on note 2 instead. Well, everything else remains exactly the same. Now essentially what this does is it creates the idea of a little bass line so that we've got some movement, even though we're pretty much playing the same thing over and over and over again. Because we're shifting these two bass notes, it starts to give it some interest. So that's the basic pattern. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then switch to the other note. 1, 2, 3, 4, and back to 1. Great. So once you've got the hang of that, then we can move on to the next part. So this right hand here that is ending on note 5 right here before it turns back again, instead of playing this note over and over again, we're going to create a melody. So we're going to shift this hand all the way to the top, and then for every round through we're just moving down the scale. So it looks like this. Right? Everything else looks exactly the same. Instead of going here, we're going here. And then back down, right? And so every time round, we're going to move down the scale. So it looks like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then shift to the other bass note. 1, 2, 3, 4, and back down. 1, 2, 3, 4, and shift. 1, 2, 3, 4. So once you've got this idea, you can play that over and over again. You can start with the simple version and then introduce the melody after, right? This sounds nice anyway. Oops. And then you bring the melody. Right, you don't have to play it that fast. I don't think it sounds as nice that fast. I think it's much nicer slower. But then once you know that that's the idea, that's the kind of framework, then you can play whatever melody you like. You can move this right hand in whatever direction you want. Right, and you can vary from that. Add pauses to make it more interesting. I'll move all the way up one time. so many different ways that you can play this, so many variations that you can play around with. So I invite you to learn the version that I just taught you and then see what you can do with it to make it your own and be able to create essentially a very long, like 5-minute meditative piece, for example. And I guarantee that'll be really fun to just kind of play and breathe with and enjoy in a relaxed way. Number 2, though, is the challenge. So now that we know how to play in a very relaxed, calm way, and that we've got something we can pick up very easily, let's work on something that's a little bit more challenging. And this one is going to incorporate some groove and some melody all happening at the same time. So first things first, we need groove. And that groove is going to look like this. Keeping it simple. So I'm striking the ding with my index finger, and then I'm striking right here on the shoulder of the tone field. And I'm kind of using this part of my finger here, keeping it nice and flat. And I'm counting 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And we're going to be working on the same premise that we're moving between 2 bass notes. So we kind of got the same feel, the same idea as the first composition that we worked with, but this time we're just mixing it up with some rhythmic elements. So we're going to put in this bass note on the ands of every beat. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3. And then we can shift. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and oops, 2 and 3 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So keep practicing that. And then once you've got it, we're going to start moving this left hand around this time. Not the right as we did before, but the left. The right hand's going to stay on this groove. This is where we're going first. Just try that with me. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and again. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and again. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Let's add another beat. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and another. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and just moving down the scale. You guessed it. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and let's end this phrase. 1 and 2 and 3 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and that's it. And we can do the same thing on the other bass note. So again, just like in the first one, I invite you to find different melodies of your own. Move that left hand around in different ways, or play the groove with your left hand. Right, and do something different with the right. So keeping the same framework, but just moving in different shapes, you can create your own compositions with this. You can move between, you know, any of these notes if you really wanted to create a nice little bass line. So these two patterns that we've learned are building from the simple idea that we're moving between these two bass notes, right? Once you're ready to diverse away from that and to try something a little bit different, you can check this video out next. But in the meantime, I hope you had fun with this one. Thank you so much, and I'll see you next time.